So let's talk about this for a minute. So there's MLS, and where else do you need to put it? Sure. Yeah, I do. Yeah. Okay, what's the big one that's missing? Actually, this is important. This is like the two gears that grind everything out. But my listing presentation says you're going to be on over 350 websites. Do you think I sit there and upload this stuff on 300? I'm not that smart. I'm not that patient, and I'm not that funny. So how do I get on 350 websites? You go to another site that KW gives you. It's called KW KLS. That takes most of the same information right there. You re-upload your photos there. That syndicates Redfin, Zillow, and 348 other sites you've never even heard of, nationwide. And anytime you change that, that's updated in 12 hours. So, okay, you've got this done. What else do you want to do? What I'm getting at here, this is your time to go, It's a big, loud What would I do specifically unique for this house that would get attention? In other words, I'm going to stop, may have a cup of coffee, may have a glass of wine, whatever you want, and you go, wait a minute, now hang on. Who did I think my buyer is going to be? How do I get a photograph in front of their head that says, hey, look at this, you might be at the car wash. Hey, look at this, you might be going to the mall. Oh, she saw that. Okay, great. Who are those people? How am I going to market to them? Sure, yeah. Well, one thing you guys really need to, every other Wednesday, right in this room, when my wife stands up there and says, any wants and needs, I love that. I want to turn that into an auction house. Go, wait a minute, you got something here, come here, stop. Here's the 4 things I got. What do you got? And then we go to each other. What do you got? I got a 3-2 in Dublin I need to sell in February. You got a buyer for that. I'm actually nervous about selling that. And maybe you got somebody. And now, of course, I'm in business with you, so that'd be cool, right? So let me exaggerate. So one of the listings that we had was in Livermore. That was had a I think a 4 or 5 acre winery on it. How did I market that home differently than the home that was right across from Amador High?
Yes.
So I got a home right on Santa Rita, right across from Amador High, with a 10,000 square foot backyard, versus a home in Livermore that has a winery on it. Had a vineyard on it. I'm sorry, not a winery. A vineyard.
Families for the Amador one with their kids.
Totally.
You know, from the backyard and
Yep.
school and application.
So you know what my headline was for the Amador house? I was laughing as I wrote it. I thought, so smart. I said, your kids will never be late to school again. And I never gave the address. I gave a picture intentionally. I'm going to talk it up both sides for now. I gave a picture. It looked like this right through here, where you can see Amador High. It had this great little, it looked terrible, but I asked the photographers to do this. And that was my first social media campaign. And how many calls do you think I got out of that?
A lot.
Like 136. It's like, where's that house? You know what I didn't do on purpose? I didn't list the price. I didn't list the size. I wanted, am I going to wake up Pleasanton here or not? So that was like, I'm sorry I launched that ad. But it was crazy. My whole anchor was the high school. So I'm thinking, if you got a troubled teen that can't get their butt out of bed to school, you're starting to run out of excuses now. Okay? So that worked like a charm. Now, the vineyard, so I think it's a 4 acre vineyard with like 38 olive trees and all sorts of stuff. How would you go about marketing that?
Make your own.
You never run out of wine again.
Yeah, right on. There you go. Right, exactly. Right. So we did a bottle of wine with a blank label, puts your family's face and name here. And I think he was making 400 and some odd cases a year kind of thing and stuff. And so the next week, have your own vintner, in Livermore, that kind of thing. So they already had a wine contract where somebody come in and harvest the grapes and that kind of thing. But incredibly, so it sounds easy, sounds cool, incredibly hard property to market. Because everybody thinks, I mean, it sounds fun, right? Oh, I'm going to have my own vineyard. And then you go, oh, I got my own vineyard. Oh, crap. What do I do with all these stupid grapes? And now somebody's traipsing around my front yard all the time. And do I care? And okay, so I have a bottle with my name on it, but I don't, I can get that anyway. And 4 acres I can't really do much with, and you can't add to it. And so it became very complex to market. And I haven't even told you about the house yet, which was a vintage Italian home that needed a ton of work. And our book said, every page you turn, it needs a ton of work. It needs a ton of work. It needs a ton of work. So very difficult to market. Make sense? Okay. What now? So how long is this taking?
Maybe a couple weeks.
Ooh, you guys are fast. Okay, so let's give you 2 weeks for repairs. How long to stage? Let's go 10 days. How long to stage?
2 days.
2. Photos?
1.
2.
2. Got to get them back. Upload. Then you got to do all this stuff. And what? 1. Okay.
15 days.
So 15 days. Woof. Okay. All right. So has the market changed in 15 days?
Yes.
You gonna sit back down with your client? Or are you just gonna hit the go button right here and you're live for $1 million?
So you need to remeet with your clients.
Bingo. Right before, so I do all this stuff and do preliminary. I do this and this preliminary. You can't do that preliminary as far as I know. And then I go back and I do a market study and I pretend, okay, now that the home looks like this, maybe I was wrong. Maybe it is a $1.2 million home. This guy's really going to be happy with me. What do I want to do with that? Why do I think that? What are the comps that are going to support that? Does that change my plan? I'm sorry?
And the comps change too.
Totally.
2 to 3 weeks.
Absolutely. And maybe interest rates went down twice in 14 days, and they did. When's the last year interest rates went down twice in 14 days on the lending side? Never. Never. So does that change the game? Yeah. Who's going to be in my open houses? A banker with a banking term sheet. Who's done that before? Smartest thing I ever did was have a banker in an open house. You know why? I don't, but it's a good question. I'll have to look it up. But what I find is, people come in, nobody wants to talk to a realtor about a house, right? It's like, oh my God, he's standing there. Can I just get a brochure and walk through and we can get out of here, right? Hey, how are you? Thanks for coming. You got a realtor? Yep, that's great. Here's a brochure. It's four bedroom, 3 bath, 6,000 square foot yard. We updated the kitchen. Here's a book. If you have any questions, let me know. And then I give space, and if I'm by myself, I got to find a way to get back in there and have a conversation. How's it going? Do you like the house? And then figure out how to gauge that family. If you have a good banker will follow up and go, hey, you guys pre-approved? We got plenty of money. That's the question I asked. Are you pre-approved? And what are you listening for there? But they don't even know what you're asking. Are you pre-approved? Oh, honey, are we? Probably not at this point, right? So a good banker's going to go, well, here's a rate sheet. If you're not pre-approved, I can help with that. Here's how this works. Rates are in and around here. And one of the bankers that I use will go, if you're renting right now, average rents in Dublin are $3,100 a month. You could get into this place if you had 20 grand. You could get into here, and your mortgage would be 28. What? Yeah, if and that that means you need good credit, and I'm not asking for trying to get into any particular information. And then I'll come in behind that, and now they want to know more about the house because they can afford it, and it's starting to be a safe place to talk. So a banker can do 2 things for you. A great banker will obviously be able to talk about numbers very comfortably to, chief financial officer from Chevron could come in. Your banker needs to be able to stand up to him and go head to head. Or they could be talking to, just an ordinary person about numbers, and you got what you got. But it also provides a safe environment to have a much deeper conversation and really get to know the family and start to form a relationship, which is the whole key. Okay, so my point to all this was definitely reset, look at the market, Do you need to make any changes to your battle plan? Do you need to make any changes to the agreements that you made with your clients? And if so, why? And remember, back in your listing presentation, you gave yourself license to do that. Our market's going to shift. And by the time I get this house on the market, it's going to shift. And as your industry expert, we're going to sit back down and we're going to discuss if we need to make any offensive battle plan changes. Okay, I like that. It makes sense. Yeah, if we're going to make a plan today, it's probably maybe not be the best plan a month from now. Okay. Because a lot of times, maybe I'm getting slow. For me, this can be 4 to 6 to 8 weeks or 12 weeks. That's perfect. So, stupid story number 948. Had a great listing in Livermore, priced at $725. I used the word trust and integrity in the listing presentation, and I meant it. And the guy says, I was going to meet 3 other people. I'm not going to now. I really like what you said. You believe in trust and integrity. That'd be great. How many days will it take to get my house on the market? And I do something stupid like 26. Get it done in 26. We ordered carpet from Nova Scotia, I guess. We couldn't just get different carpet. Well, we couldn't because then it would clash with everything. Anyway, 48 days later, we got his house on the market. Now that may not sound terrible. It was over Memorial Weekend that we missed, which meant we missed the peak of the market, which meant I'm sitting there at the end of June like an idiot in the middle of the street trying to sell his house. And how many people are coming through the open house? 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Terrible. So you got to plan for, I bring that up for a couple of reasons. One, really be careful about that. Really pick things that you know you're going to execute to. Really have contingency plans. I had, 4 listings at the same time. Didn't project manage that every day like I should have. Yeah, carpet must be in, that must be going on. Okay, great. Use these guys all the time. Drove by one Saturday. It's like, what the hell? The living room's still down to studs and sheetrock. And I'm supposed to be planting a for sale sign in the front yard in 3 days. And on and on and on and on. So you got to stay on top of stuff. Make a new battle plan. And throughout this entire time, you're communicating with the sellers. How do you communicate with the sellers? Boom! Right there. Do you ask that question? Buyers and sellers. When you ask that question and you ask it correctly, most people look like Kermit the Frog. Oh, what? No, I'm serious. Do you prefer a phone call, a text, or an email? And would you like your spouse on that? Am I going to communicate with you or your spouse? Or both? Oh, both of us. Okay. And then you ask again, and the husband may say phone call, and she may say text, or vice versa. Come up with a communication method and stick to it. So I'm going to give you 2 things that are not in Ignite that I wish somebody would have told me the first day I would have started. I got to say it in front of Brandon, too. He's going to laugh at me. Always leave your client with the next step. You are the lead dog, period, full stop. You're the lead scout. You're supposed to run up, grab the binoculars, make sure the next mountaintop is safe, run back and tell them the next 2 steps they're going to take, when they're going to happen, how they're going to happen, and you'll talk to them Thursday at 2. And here's the 2 things we're going to talk about. Guys, live your life. I know it's complex, putting your house on the market. I don't need you to do a thing until Thursday at 2, and then we're going to cover these 2 topics. I'll see you then. Do you have any other questions? Nope. If you need to reach out to me between now and then, feel free to call or text, and we can add something to the agenda on Thursday. You have to set the tone and the pace, otherwise your clients will run over you. Or you won't hear anything from them, and they'll wonder, what is going on? Honey, do we have any offers? What is it we signed? What did we sign? What did that thing say? I thought we were supposed to have offers by now. And then you're going to get some irate person on the phone going, where's my offers? We haven't even had a broker's open yet. Broker's open? What the hell is that? Are you guys going to do a broker's open? Why?
Focused exposure.
Buyer?
How do you set up a broker's open versus an open house?
Well, first you could announce it at the broker meetings.
Yep.
Like the real meetings.
Yep, totally. Totally different scripts for a broker's open than an open house. So you're peer-to-peer in a broker's open. So an agent may know that farm or that area very, very well. A good agent may spend 4 seconds in your house. Just want to see if it really is what it is, because I've got some clients, I can't mess around with them, I need to see it. I'm going to walk through it, I'm going to grab your brochure, okay, I like it, and I'm going to go to the next one. And what's your script for that agent? You're peer-to-peer, you're in a boxing match with that person, in a kind way, I don't mean it aggressively. Last time I said that, you're walking around, come here, it's like, no, it wasn't what I meant. I know. We're selling this house. Got him in a headlock. You're gonna buy it. Wasn't what I meant. The script for that person is, hey, right? You got what do you think? You got a buyer? And what are you gonna come back with? Cain, this thing's overpriced. No, I don't. Well, why do you think that? Well, because I just sold the house down the block. I don't know how'd you come up with this? No, it looks good. Peer-to-peer, nobody else around, that's what you say. My professional opinion of this house is, and I heard that last week. My professional opinion, Rob, you're $30,000 overpriced. Then make me an offer. I'm a big boy. It's called a counter. That's what I said back. Oh, maybe I am, maybe I'm not, I don't know. What's the value of a house worth? Yes, I love you, Gabe. Right on, that's the second high five. So is that person right or wrong? Who knows? Make an offer, right? Brokers open, total different scripts. Very transactional, very fast paced. What do you think? Do you have a buyer? I don't know. I'll think about it. I might. Drop this card right there. Pick that card up. I put a number system on it. 1, good to see you again. 2, sarcasm, you ate my food, now get out. 2, might have somebody. 3, definitely tackle them. Tackle them in the driveway. You said you had somebody. I did business with you last time. Love working with you. How do you get this done? Okay, somebody that's super interested, what else are they going to say in that broker's open? My favorite question, what does it take to get this done? Rob, I know I have somebody, this kitchen does it for me in the backyard location, schools, I'm all in, not screwing around. Are you calling for offers? Mm-hmm. Multiple counter, okay. What does it take to get this done? Well, I have put that on the MLS. Offers are due Tuesday at 5. I will counter. I will talk to you about it. I'll share information that's appropriate. Okay. At least I know the landscape. Make sense? So you're feeding very precise information to agents that can write. That's what you're doing in a broker's open. Open house, you're a community expert. I know every house is for sale in a 10-mile radius. 5-mile radius. I do. In this price point, I know every one of them. That's not that many. Haven't been through them all. I'm not going to lie to you. Been through most of them. But I will sell this house by the other homes. Okay, so you've done all this work. And for me, every listing I write down a set of goals. I want to be a better agent. I want my clients to go, yeah, that's what service is about. I totally forgot. Somebody actually cares. Somebody actually does what they say they're going to do. Somebody actually went a step further every single time. Somebody actually believed that Thursday at 2 o'clock is Thursday at 2 o'clock, not 2:30. This is great. And we've got offers, honey. They're not what we wanted, but he's got solutions and he's helpful. I get it. Okay, great. So my goals are, I want to get it sold. I want to make some money. I want that client to go, yeah, I want to be a better agent, and I want to know the community better. So the fun part of this whole thing is not babysitting, but selling. So the way I do it is, let's take this $1 million home. If you do $1 million home right now in Livermore in let's see, I'm going to be doing a listing present today at 3 o'clock. We have 5 comps to look at. I'm going to go into that listing presentation to talk more about the comps than their own home. And then based upon those comps, I'm going to tell them what their home's worth. based upon the market, not me. But what number do I know going into that meeting? What they think it's worth. I could care less what I think it's worth. They think it's worth $968. The market thinks it's worth about $950. I think with a little bit of love and care, you can probably get 1.1 out of it. Okay, great. We got to see if they want to go through that story. The point is now is showtime. You've done all this stuff. Now is when most agents show up, have their Starbucks, and do the 1 to 4 thing. This is the time where you set yourself apart. This is the time where you go through an open house plan that sets you apart. So a particular example is anybody comes in that living room, you do have, I normally have 2 or 3 different sets of homes. Homes with bigger backyards, homes with updated kitchens, and then I have the complete list. If you're looking for a home in this price range, there's 6 of them. You should see them. Here's the route for you. Here's the fastest way to see all 6 of them. Like, you do that? Yeah. Your agent doesn't do that? No. Huh. Okay. Not going to ask. Do you have an agreement with that agent? Yeah. Okay, great. Good for you. Here's the route. And when they're driving through that route, it's like, honey, Bill doesn't do this for us. Okay. And if they call me back, what do I say? If you terminate the agreement you have with that other agent, I'm more than happy to help you. But I'm excited that you signed a buyer's agreement with them, and that's great. You deserve phenomenal service, and I hope you get it. Okay? So how I sell that house is I oversell it based upon the competition. There's 4 homes on the market in a half-mile radius from here. They're all priced roughly the same, 470 square foot, dollars a square foot, all 3-bedroom, 2-bath. The home down the street has a larger kitchen than this one. The other home has a larger backyard, but a smaller kitchen. This one has an open floor plan. The other ones don't. Like, wow. Well, could you change this house? We love the backyard, but we want a kitchen like this. Yeah, you could. You could do this. You could do that. Here's 2 examples of how we could change this house and how we've changed others. Oh, what am I doing? I'm giving people reasons to stay and think about it. And I'm giving people a vision of what the house can become. So Jen taught me this. Most people go into a house. You look at this room, you go, this is a long, narrow room. I don't like it. It is right now. What were you looking for? Well, we needed like 2 rooms or 3 rooms. We've got 2 kids that run around and we have a lot of play days and stuff. Okay, great. Here's 3 examples of how you could do that. Well, what would that cost? I'm glad you asked. Next page, there's an invoice from a licensed contractor that can do it. How long would that take? I'm glad you asked. He can do that in 6 days. We could do it. We could close escrow, do that work, and you could move it. How would you do that? We'd negotiate a rent back. How does that work? So we're taking away excuses for people to go, this home doesn't work for us. But we're doing it in such a way that we're showing people that we're an industry expert of what's for sale in the community. Does that make sense? So, you know who's the best at this that I know of? I just call this game time. Anybody know Joe Garcia in the Livermore office? I love Joe for a lot of reasons. One of the reasons I love Joe, I'll tell you a funny story about Joe in just a second. One of the reasons I love Joe is because if you call him on Friday afternoon and say, Joe, I got an open house, would you do it? Rob, I can't do that. No, Joe, I need somebody to do it. I called everybody, I need you to do it. Rob, I can't do that. Ask why.
Why?
Because I have an open house program, Rob. It takes me 5 days to get prepared for an open house. You want me standing in that living room, I won't go in there unless I'm a warrior and I know how to oversell that house based upon the competition. Gee, Joe, what's that mean? Well, hang on a second. Okay, well, there's 6, I've only spent 30 seconds, but there's 6 homes within a half-mile radius of that. I've only seen 3 of them. It looks like you're overpriced on square footage. Your kitchen, that's mediocre. Okay, I'm going to know all those other homes better than I know your home, and I'm just getting started on knowing your home. And then I'm going to know the school's cold. I'm going to know the principal. I'm going to know if there's a waiting list to get in there or not. Somebody asked, can my kid get into your school? What school district is this? What school district? What is it? Not a trick question. What school district is this? Anybody know? Yes, sir? Yes. Can I get into this school? I have 3 kids. Can I get them in here? I'm from Fremont. Should you answer that? Are you an electrician too? Is that 110 or 220?
I don't know.
You and I got to hang out, man. You're a boxer and electrician. You guys see Mr. Mom? You remember that? Michael
Yes.
Keaton?
Yes.
That's 110, 112. Honey, if you need me, I'll be at the gym or the gun club. You don't answer the question because you don't know if they can get into the school or not. You don't. Is that a good school? I mean, even if you have kids there, you don't know if it's a good school. You can cite stats on the school. What kind of car do you drive?
Suburban,
Nice. What year?
what is it? 2012?
Okay. Is it a good car?
Yep,
How do you know?
I like it.
See? But what's it rated? Right? I mean, so you get the point? He thinks the car's good. By the way, that is a good car. It's a very reliable car. Most people get over 200,000 miles on it. It's great. But you never want to answer the question about schools. Can I get in there? I got that question this weekend. And the hair goes up on the back of my neck when people start talking about their kids. Boy, I never want to mislead a family on anything, let alone their kids. Well, my kid, was that a good school for my kids? Could you imagine getting a call a year from now? My 5-year-old son got in a fist fight at that school that you said was good. Well, tell him to duck. No, bad answer, right? All I can tell you is the stats of the school. My point to this whole thing was Joe would say, I don't know, schools ranked 9.5 out of 10. Here is the profile of the school. Here are 4 phone numbers that can get you an appointment at the school. If you have trouble getting in with any of those people, let me know. Whoa, never had that happen before. So my point is, there's a whole game plan to put together being an absolute expert once you're in that living room. Does that make sense? Okay. All right, questions so far? You guys want my Joe Garcia story?
We love it.
So it's his birthday. He didn't know I know this. So I'm trying to sell a vineyard in Livermore, and it's on Hilliker, and he had a home right below me. So I door dashed him a hamburger, a chocolate milkshake, and a set of fries. He's got an open house, I got an open house. And I see the car coming up the hill. I'm going, this is great. He's going to get his hamburger. He's going to get his hamburger. I'm so excited. And he's going to call me and go, thanks, dude. This rocks. And I see the guy going up to the door and shaking his head. It's like, and they're like arguing back and forth. It's like, take the hamburger. What's your problem? Then it's like 105 this day. I'm thinking, now the milkshake's going to be ruined and everything. So he walks back, the driver walks back into the car, drives up to my house. He says, the guy down there thinks I got the address wrong and it belongs to you. I said, no, it's his birthday and he's supposed to get anything. That was crazy.
Oh,
But,
my God.
yeah, so I ended up getting a stupid hamburger and a milkshake. I had to call him. I said, you realize I'm eating your birthday gift. So, yeah, it's kind of funny. All right. Let's make sure we got all the main pieces here.
So, Rob, just
Yes.
a quick question.
Mhm.
You were saying there was 2 things that you were going to tell us that isn't in Ignite, and you said always leave your client with the next step.
Yep.
What was the other?
Oh, geez.
So there's 2 things.
Yeah, way to put me on the spot. What was the second thing? No, it's good. Well, let me highlight the first one. Hopefully that jars my memory for the second one. Because most people don't do that. Every time you leave a client, whether you're on the buy side or the sell side. So you're finishing a buyer tonight, you've got 3 listings, they're going to drive off in their car. See ya, thanks for your time. Those are worthless words. I will send you new homes next Thursday at 10 in the morning. Tell me which ones you like and we're going to go out again. If I see something between now and then, I'll send that to you as well. Okay, all right, see you later. Tell them the next step. Be danged if I can remember the other one. That really sucks. It'll come back, and I'll tell you. Yeah, I guess I got 2 secret pieces of information. I gave you one. That was great. Okay. Yeah, exactly. So good. Yep. Okay, we covered marketing. Let's talk about that a little bit more. Marketing means a lot of different things to other people. So you've done all this work. You're ready for your first open house. You're live. What should you do with that neighborhood around that open house, around that listing that you just got?
Invite him.
Knock on doors.
Yep. What's your script there?
Introduce yourself. Invite them.
Yep. You've got a legitimate reason to knock on those doors, right? I mean, you can door knock and you have a legitimate reason there too. Gosh, Natalie Swanson's one of her favorite lines. I'm actually a very shy person. If you knock on my door and I'm at home, I won't answer it. But here it's like, okay, say something stupid for a while. But her reason for knocking on doors, it just works for me because it comes out of my heart. It's like, that works. Her script is, it's almost the end of the year. I was wondering if you have any annual goals for real estate. Because if you do, I want to help because I'm a natural servant. I actually want to serve you. If you have a goal to buy or sell, I want to help. Okay, that's good work. So, but there, the script is, it's a great time to pick your neighbors. Right? We had some clients that came through this last open house on Sunday, 2 sisters that are trying to get their 3rd sister down from San Luis Obispo up here. It's like, we've got to get our sister into this house. And we laughed. We said, yeah, it's always a great time to pick your neighbors. You guys live here. Yeah, I live right there. Like, okay. So huge. Jen taught me this one as well. So you're in a slow market. Okay. So you get this listing. You get it on June 1st. It takes you that amount of time. You're going to go live right after 4th of July weekend. Starting to typically slow down. You're not going to get anybody in there. You think it's going to be relatively slow. What else can you do to get a line of people at that front door?
Do a small get-together or invite them for snacks.
Totally. Yep. So you market a specific party, right? Could be, Wednesday evening wine and toast. Could be a poker party. Could be a Super Bowl party. Could be, some of the best agents have a blast with their open houses. I'm talking, sure, there can be a guy with a guitar or even a band or whatever. One of our best agents, his signature move, every listing he gets, he has a barbecue. He does that for Brokers Open and his first open house. It's like, what does that cost? He says, what's it cost me not to? And this guy does big business. And now people go there because why? They want a rib or a hot dog or a hamburger and say hi to Blaze. See his house. His houses are always phenomenal. He always has high quality products for sale. He always has the book. You always know what you're getting with Blaze. So what's he doing? He's building his reputation. Why do clients work with him? Because they've probably been to his open house and go, honey, we didn't get a barbecue, and look at all these people, and why are they here? And they're all good people. And they're all qualified people. It's funny, at our open house, there were people that didn't even know what qualified meant. With Blaze, everybody knew what to do. Well, how did that happen? Okay, so set the tone and the pace. The other thing you can do is the listing that I underpriced, I was further stupid, and I thought, nobody's going to come to this. So, in my infinite wisdom, we put together a contest. And I said, so we door knocked the entire neighborhood, about 350 homes, and had a tear-off thing on there. If you come to the open house and we draw your name out of the hat, you'll get a free steak dinner from Rusty's Steakhouse in Livermore, because we're in Livermore. So what is the cost of one steak dinner for me?
$30.
I capped it at $150. I thought, well, you're going to take your wife out, maybe your kids come, whatever. And plus, I really wanted you to come. So I thought, well, maybe we'll get 10 more families or something. So we had this jar, and there were probably 50 people that threw their thing in there. So would they have come or not? I don't know. Again, the mistake was I only had 2 days of that. So out of that listing, I think we got like 6 leads. And with that kind of volume, so again, you want a success criteria for all of this stuff. You want a lot of leads. So here's the rule. If you're Gary Keller, every listing you want 4 leads out of that. 1 to 4, that's the game. And if you have a goal to do a listing a month and all of a sudden you got 1 to 4 out of that, think how much your business is growing. Now, typically I don't get 1 to 4, that's my goal. Sometimes I get 1 to 2, sometimes I get 1 to 1, sometimes I get a big fat 0, and sometimes I get 1 to 4. Now my script, or I said, I don't want to thank you, I want you to give me 2 referrals. You know what Jen asked me one night? Do you really love me? No, she did. She said, she has asked it before. She said, well, why do you ask for 2? Like you're limiting that. It's like, why don't you say referrals? I'm like, I guess I could. She said, why don't you say at least 2? And that's made a big difference. So one person last year gave me 6 referrals. So, never limit yourself that way. Okay? All right. I want to talk about customer experience a little bit. Are you guys with me so far?
Yep.
You feel like you have this piece? Okay. You finish selling. Client's happy. You did a great job. Sometimes you give them a closing gift, a selling gift, even if you're very customary on the buy side, right? Pretty customary on the sell side. One of the things that I would recommend is instead of at the end of this, here's a gift. You get into contract. I typically allocate $400 or $500 per client. You get into contract, I send a $100 gift. Could be flowers. Thanks for trusting me. Think of the responsibility, right? People look at me in a listing presentation. This is another thing that I say is, I hope, are you interviewing somebody else? Yeah, good. Because I want you to pick somebody that you trust. I want you to pick somebody that you're comfortable with. And, one of the ways that I would do that, if it was my family, is I picture that person in the living room of my house as I'm driving away with my family. And, are they really going to lock the doors? Are they really going to care for me? Are they really have a game plan, a proactive game plan to get my home sold, but protect me as we do it? Not only financially, but emotionally. And all of my goods. And lo and behold, there'll be a private showing at 3 o'clock where I need you there. And are you going to be there? And are you going to protect my stuff? And can you let the dog out and let it back in? Am I comfortable with that? So be thinking about those kinds of things. The customer experience point was pick times in this process where you can say thank you to your clients. So a great one is, thanks for that listing agreement. You bet. Boom, there's one. We're ready to go on the market. I know I've inconvenienced you guys so many times. You could send a picture of the sheetrock guy tearing the sheetrock wall down and, there was a disaster behind that or whatever it is. But thank them for going through that process with you. Give them a gift for that. We're live now. Here's what we're doing. And the other thing that I do is, as we talked about, always leave your client with what the next step is. I make a very simple schedule for our clients. This is what's going to happen by this week. This is what's going to happen by this week. We're going to take photos here. We're going to stage right before that. We're going to do this and this and this. Open houses, open houses, open houses. So they know what's going on. And then we have, I suggest a weekly status call. Here's how it went last week. Here's how we're doing this week. And we talk about leads. We talk about outgoing calls, ingoing calls. We go over marketing campaigns. By the time they get off that call, it's like, wow, now I know why there's no for sale by owners around here. This is hard work, and it's a full-time job. Oh, yeah, gosh, and now we got an offer, so they got to qualify that. So make sure that you're rewarding your clients as you go through it. Make sense? Let's see here. Anything else? So who in here has a listing presentation put together? Let's go back to the listing meeting itself, okay? All right. Tell me about the core parts of that you have.
The bio,
Okay.
what we have done, how do we explain the whole process that what's the market doing and how do we do the open houses, what do we do at the open houses, roughly time frame, then how the market is doing overall at currently, then something about the house and the market comps in that area.
Okay. How do you answer the question, why you? It's an interview, right? What's one of the rules in an interview? Interview is always a two-way conversation, right?
Yes.
Okay. If Jen was here, she would say, never have a listing appointment, comma, only have signing appointments. So I think it's a pretty high bar. I mean, it doesn't work that way for me, but boy, that sounds cool. Right? It's like, I'm going to go sign a contract. Well, first I think I need to earn it. The point is, how much of that work can you do up front? And I know that's what you were talking about. So when you're on that phone call, Start mining as much information as you possibly can. You should have a list of open-ended questions there. You should get off that phone call with what's their why, because that's your biggest weapon. And that weapon comes out where? All the way through here. So mistake number 4016 this year. I won't get the number right. I had a listing for 187 days. Stupid.
The 2.4 million?
Yeah, thanks. Yeah. 2.4. Now the
Is it still at 2.4?
Now I got it in contract, okay? Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Within a year.
Oh my gosh, brutal. But the point was, the clients were, I had to go back to that why again and again and again and again, and they were unreasonable, and I didn't set my strong enough boundaries with them. Talk about listing a house or babysitting a house. I babysat that thing for 4 freaking months because of bad leadership, frankly. Now, very tough client. I wanted the listing, sure, who wouldn't? And we started at 2.6, and I said, oh, geez. Kind of a 2.6 house. It's kind of not. It might be. We got our head up against the glass ceiling. It's like this. I tried to make a joke. They didn't laugh. I said, so if it doesn't sell in a month, we need to reduce the price. Okay. That's what we said. A month went by. How many people came in? I mean, you did because you felt sorry for me, and you brought your mother, and that was nice, and that was it. Nobody else came through. Why? Because that is a competitive market. There's about 9 agents there that know it cold, and they went, the new kid over there priced that way over. I ain't going there. Stupid. So it took forever to lower the price and manage their expectations. So we finally sold it at 2.4, where we're in contract now. But the point is to quickly manage expectations. So $200,000 reduction, and a lot of people said, it's probably a 2.3, 2.4 home. You probably should start there. And there were comps that justified it there. But the problem is you walk into a larger home like that as a listing, and you've got it staged, and you look at it and it goes, it feels like 1985. It just feels that way. So every client that walks in either goes, we love the house, but it's 5,000 square feet. In order to update it, it's $500,000. Thank you. See you later. So I don't want to spend $3 million. So I had one client that kept coming back going, are there any new lots? Because we're going to spend $3 million. We're going to spend $3 million. We just want our own house. It wouldn't look like this. Like, okay. So now I have a listing problem. I have a problem with my product, right? And I can't put enough into it to get it sold for any value. So it's a great one to manage your client's expectations with an updated to go, we need to make a decision change here. Okay, let's talk about, let's stay with the listing presentation for a little bit, and then I'm going to come back and talk about something else. So how do you answer why me in your listing presentation? So you talked about that a little bit. How do you guys answer why me?
I use Keller Williams as a brokerage because I'm such a new agent, so
Good.
I use their
Good.
history
Good.
and
Perfect.
Where we can market
Perfect.
to
Perfect.
and just different
Perfect.
as a
Perfect.
backing.
Good. Yep. And throw, so if you guys are on Michael Lewis or some of the other marketing tools that we have some great templates now for listing presentations that has a lot of the current marketing data in there. It has a lot of the technology in there that shows the 350 websites, that shows how they're going to be touched regularly, and really does put you, far ahead of the competition. So that's great. Let's talk about safety during your open house. Okay, so you're here. You've got your game plan. You know the competition out there. 2 things I want to talk about. So first of all, you're responsible for the safety of the house, right? So you leave, I always play a game with myself. I always trick myself to figure out which window somebody left open just for fun. The house on Santa Rita, right across from Amador, every stinking time I would lock that house up, somebody had slightly ajarred the window so you could slide it open from the outside. Every day. Every day. So, you are responsible. So let's say that you leave a house, you leave a listing at 4 o'clock, you lock it all up, and you think you do. Family's gone, there's a back door open, that house gets broken into, TV's gone, all the gear's gone. Wasn't even broken into because they just slid the door open. Who's responsible for that? Yep. And how are you responsible for that? What's it say in that listing agreement? Your fiduciary responsibility for that asset. So I remember Steve Pierce tells a story. He says, gosh, I went away one time and I think this window's open and I'm down in Oakland and the house is clear up in Brentwood. And Steve is our broker at the time. He says, get in your car, drop what you're doing and drive up there and lock that house. And call me when you're there. Better yet, take a picture of yourself locking the window and send it to me. Because you right now are totally responsible for the contents of the house. It's like, what? So, you can't underemphasize that. The other piece is, safety during those open house hours. So a lot of times I think it's great to have a buddy system. And it doesn't matter if you're a man or woman. I mean, there are things that can happen super fast. You get a house that's very full of people, like Jen and I had Sunday. You can't keep track of them all. And it's just good to have a buddy system there. Is everybody familiar with the, I feel like I'm selling Amway or something. Everybody familiar with the Bay East system? Okay. Have you signed up to it? Okay. Have you signed up to it? Have you? Do you want to walk us through how it works?
Is it RSA? Is it RSA?
Yeah. Yep. So how it works? Do you want to walk us through how it works?
It's when you're going to an appointment, then show a house, and you log in, and it will alert agents in the area that will respond if something happens while you're having there. If you're being attacked, the shaking and motion on your phone will send out an alert, and someone will come over and check in on you to see if you're okay. It's a good feature.
Totally. Yep. Absolutely.
But just in case, because I always have my phone with me when I'm doing an open house, one of the features on the iPhone is if you press the on and off button and also either the top button or the bottom button of the volume, it will call immediately emergency services.
I never knew that.
Yeah, so you can hold it down and it'll start doing it.
Huh.
And it'll start telling you that they're going to call in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
That's cool.
And they'll call.
Okay. Good.
So
That's awesome.
now I can't use my phone.
Yeah. Yeah. Good job. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. How do you? So let's say you've had a house on the market for. Remember, your whole game plan is no babysitting, right? Got to get this thing sold. So you have 2 or 3 goals for yourself after you get this listing, right? I'm going to get it sold. I'm going to meet a bunch of really great agents. I'm going to get 4 or 5 leads out of this, right? That's my plan. Okay, so you're on the market 3 weeks, 4 weeks. How are you going to keep track of all the people that have come through? And why would you keep track of all those people? So let's say you got a stack of business cards that are 100 deep and have gone through the house. And you've got 30 families that have come through the house. You're 3 weeks into it. And you decide to lower the price. How are you going to get back through those people and remind them what was a great value is now a super great value and your offers are due Tuesday at 5? How are you going to do that? How are you going to manage that data?
Put them in 2 years.
Command or Open House Pro.
Perfect.
Enter.
Perfect. Good. Yep. Okay, good. All right, let's talk about signs. So how many signs are you going to put up?
Depends on the city that you're in.
Great answer. Everybody know those rules? Okay, so how do you learn the rules? So somebody says, hey, come on down. I got a listing in Mission Hills. Okay, great, I'll do that. I got enough time to put together my game plan and study that. How do you learn how many signs you can put up?
Check the
Do what?
city rules.
Car?
Yep.
On their website?
Yep, absolutely. Car's got a link on there by city that you can look at. Okay. You know how I learned that one the hard way? So I had a house in over off of Harvest, and place was packed. And it was one of my first open houses, one of my first listings, and I was so excited. I mean, the living room was just shoulder to shoulder people, and I'm handing out brochures, and I'm joking around, and everybody's having a good time. And I'm thinking I'm going to sell this in a heartbeat. And I look over, and here comes a state trooper. And coming to me. He wants a house too. I said, hey, I got a house. He says, come here. I'm like, what? Like, this isn't going to go well. Like, what? No, I got a house that. Come here. Okay. I said, he says, all those signs you have in the median way, you can't do that in Pleasanton. Yeah, I said, do I need to move them now? He says, not this time, but I know your face and I got your number. I said, obviously from the sign. So know your signs, right? But the point is, you're absolutely right. Look it up by city of how many signs you can do, and then how many should you do? That many. That's right. You know why?
Because the more signs the better.
Yeah. And you wouldn't believe how many people so that's another, when you get a listing, you really want to pick somebody. If you can't do it both Saturday and Sunday and you need to pick somebody to do it, you really need to pick somebody that has a game plan to get your home sold. You call somebody, how many signs you put up? 3. 3. How many people do you have? Not many. Well, I wonder why. 3 more blocks is right off the freeway. This is a true story. For 6 signs, last weekend I had 18 people. You had 3. Those are the 3 people that went to Taco Bell and then saw the house. That's it. That's it. So, absolutely. Expose that listing the best you absolutely can. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Especially be careful in San Ramon area. I already had 2 of my signs get picked up by the city. And you have to go and then get it back and pay the fine and all that.
How much was the fine?
It wasn't much. It's $5 per sign.
Okay.
But I lost the whole weekend because nobody showed up.
Yeah, and you didn't know why, right? Yeah, exactly. No, exactly.
Because my sign got picked up.
Right.
What's the rule?
Is it one
San
per
Ramon.
intersection, isn't it?
Yeah.
No,
You
so
have to have
What's the rule in San Ramon?
Yeah,
San
that's
Ramon is-
one per intersection
no, San Ramon is very strict. You cannot put it
on the concrete.
on the concrete, on the landscaping next to the road. You cannot put it on the city property, so you cannot put, if it's a school or anything, you cannot put it there. They have given me a whole book now to.
Yeah, you're teaching a class on that next week. I love it.
Oh. Plus, it took me 3 hours to get my signs back, so that was the bigger cost than anything else.
I love it. I love it. That's crazy. All right. Any other questions on selling your listing? Yes, sir.
Question regarding the signs versus the apps. So my experience, again, number of signs is a different question, but signs bring in lurkers than serious buyers. Because
Yeah.
most of the serious buyers are using the apps and like
Yep.
getting the navigation. So
Totally.
what's your thoughts on that?
Use everything you can is my thoughts. I do both. I agree with you. Signs tend to bring people that are window shopping, and the apps bring people that have done some due diligence and they have specific questions. And you can almost tell, one of the other games that we play is when you come into the front door, how did you get there? Was it because of an app and pre-studying the house, or you've got an agent, or did you just follow the sign? And you can almost tell which one's which. So use both, get as much traffic as you can. That's the name of the game. And then, the part that we could probably spend a little bit more time on right now is the scripts as you go through there. So, I say go through there, as you go through your listing. So, I'll have, I typically have anywhere from 10 to 20 scripts for a listing that I spend a lot of time with every little word that I want in there, and then I'll ad-lib it as I need to if I'm talking to, just an older couple or a younger couple, whatever it might be. But I'll have a script for every room. I'll have a script for, I love it when somebody asks me, how's the market? And why do people ask me, how is the market? They don't know what else to say. How's the market? Oh, it's strong. It's going up. So I talk very specific when somebody asks me how the market is. The market's up 6.2% year over year on this week from last year. Would you like to know how I know that? Yeah. Because I count the amount of listings, I count the amount of pendings, and I count the amount of sold every single week. It's what I do every Monday morning at 6 a.m. And then I look at the interest rates and I try to figure out why. And then I look at the demographics and I try to figure out the difference between Dublin, Livermore, San Ramon, Pleasanton, because those are kind of our stomping grounds. I really like to understand the difference between those markets. And then what's really fun is after I understand that, I like to see how that compares to Mission Hills. Why would you do that? Because Mission Hills last weekend, I had 62 people through an open house that want to buy it. And in the previous weekend in Livermore, I had 8. I had a much nicer house. And I'm trying to figure out why that is. But in general, the market's up 6.2%. Okay. So when people ask you a question, you try to give them exact data. What are the taxes on this place? What's your answer? Oh, about $6,000. What's your answer? $6,366.18 last year is what this family paid. So who really studied that? So have very specific scripts. And remember, that's your chance to show that you're the industry expert. So I always try to know much more about that house than the person that's walking through it.